Hello everybody, Shocking Sean here. I wanted to make a brief video explaining who I think you should pick for this upcoming patch, or sorry, version 2.2. First, Childe will be coming back, and then followed up by Childe will be Hu Tao. And if I had to pick one objectively, I would pick Hu Tao. But if I had to pick who I thought was cooler, I would honestly pick Childe because I just think he's fun to play. He's ranged, and he's melee, and I love that sash, how it changes into that fiery looking flow on his back. I don't know, I think he's the most unique character in this game to play with. But Hu Tao is definitely more useful. And also, she's a pretty lady, so there's that. Hu Tao is a god at taking down bosses. She destroys health bars. Individual targets, yeah, she is superior. I would argue that she's actually one of the best damage dealers in the game. Maybe even the best pyro damage dealer in the game. Now, there would be people who saying, oh, it's Klee, or oh, it's Diluc, but I would have to lean towards Hu Tao. If I had to make my own personal chart, I would put Hu Tao on top of the pyro thing. But I'm also a little biased because I don't really want to ever use Klee. I'm getting off topic. Anyway, Childe is the king of hydro damage, and he's really good at taking on crowds, and he can also take on enemies with pyro shields. So if it's a boss with a pyro shield, yeah, Childe's your guy. He could take on bosses. He's not going to be as good as Hu Tao, but he really excels at taking on crowds. He's so good at that stuff. That's his thing, man. Um, he's also cooler in my opinion because he has like a really neat story where yeah he's a member of the Fatui, but he's not exactly evil. You know, he's from Shiznaya, and that's just where he was born and raised, and he's a fighter. He's like a Vegeta. You know, he's like your rival. He's like your Gary. If you've played Pokemon or Goku, you know what I'm talking about. And he also has a little brother, and he keeps his little brother in the dark about being a member of the Fatui because he wants to preserve his little brother's innocence and just wants to be a good older brother and be an example, a good example. And I think he's a more admirable character than Hu Tao. Now, Hu Tao is also very admirable in her own way, but just not as notable as Childe. You know, she's the youngest director of the Wan Shu Funeral Parlor. Um, but she is stronger in game than Childe in most scenarios. So if you're gonna pick one, I highly recommend picking Hu Tao. Unless, of course, you have like four Pyro characters built in one Hydro, in which case you might want to build another Hydro character because, you know, the Spiral Abyss might have two enemies with Pyro shields, and you might want to have two Hydro characters. I'm going to be making two videos on each one of them more in depth explaining their kits because I don't want to make any video too long. I want to make them small, digestible for you guys so I don't take up too much of your time. So I'll just end it here. Who do you think you're going to pick? Please comment below with your thoughts. Like and subscribe. And yeah, Shocking Sean out.